Weekly Science Watch scientists have done studies and they have found as much as women say they want a guy who's loving and charming and faithful and makes a bunch of money and doesn't cheat and is emotionally available and writes poetry and watches The Notebook 3 times a year. That's not what they respond to. Studies suggest 2 out of 3 women love men who give mixed signals. He's emotionally unavailable. He doesn't text back in a timely manner. He doesn't call back. They like a guy with a little mystery, or at least they respond to men who have mystery and challenge. And he's a bit of a riddle and an enigma. So, what do you guys make of the fact that women say they want these things, but they respond to these toxic things overwhelmingly? What do you guys make of that?
So I would love to answer that one. First, it's not that women like or love mixed signals. What it is,
Hmm.
they like men who build tension and interest and men who don't love bomb them and then disappear. And so, first of all, I'd like to point out a couple things, right? The first one is the clear interest sometimes because of the way we've been treated, not me personally, but the way we've been treated, women in general. The clear interest can be construed as one, love bombing. Two, it also has a sense of mistrust, distrust, because women are somewhat in this new dating age condition not to trust some men's intentions because it doesn't necessarily, they get all caught up in their feelings and then the guy disappears and they get ghosted after the guy showed clear interest, but he only showed clear interest until he got what he wanted, which was sex. And once he got that sex, it was deuces, I got it, I'm out. And so women distrust that. But at the same time, if someone's acting all mysterious, they're like, oh, maybe there's something here. Or they seem a little detached. It's like, huh, maybe there's something here. Maybe I need to keep pulling this because women do like challenges occasionally as well, right? So they're like, well, maybe I should just keep pulling this thread and see where it goes. And he does just enough to keep her interested, just enough to keep her wanting to pull that thread. And so that's creating that tension and that excitement that she may need. Like I mentioned previously, that sometimes toxicity is mistaken for men tend to mistake toxicity, but it's really excitement that woman is craving, right? So you mentioned like poetry in the park. Maybe her ass don't like poetry in the park. Maybe she want to go rollerblading in the park. And that may be something unique and different to her or to him. And it's like, oh, that's something I would have never thought to do or would have done in the first place. And so the mysterious man is actually just more appealing because women aren't used to men having emotional depth. Let's be honest about it. Women aren't really used to men being emotionally intelligent. Let's be honest about that. That's why we're saying, oh, we want emotionally intelligent men. And then we don't know what to do with it when we get the emotionally intelligent man because we're not used to it. We're still used to the whole, oh, the stoic, the non-communicator and so forth. And at some point, we actually kind of expect that because it goes back to conditioning again. And so when I hear this about 2 out of 3, I'm actually not surprised. I'm not surprised at all because sometimes women will mistake that emotional unavailability for, oh, he's been intense or, oh, I need to heal him or I'm going to be the person that gets him to change or I'm going to be the person to change him because women also like to be change makers. They like to take somebody, not recognize who they are and try to build them into somebody who they want them to be. And they view that as that going back to that whole challenge situation. However, I will note if a woman keeps choosing a man that's giving mixed signals, then there's clearly something wrong with her. There's clearly something that she needs to evaluate within herself because that's a pattern. And a lot of times women don't recognize that the problem is them and not necessarily the man. The problem is them and why they keep choosing the same type of man, i.e., the mixed signal man versus the one who's clear interest. If that clear interest doesn't like, it's not just love bombing or is built up over time versus like, oh, I'm going to love bomb and then go ghost because I got the cootie, you know? So but ultimately, I think both genders, because I'm going to have to pull a Devin here, both genders confuse unpredictability with passion, right? It's like a universal human flaw, right? It's not just related to just women or females. It's also men and males because ultimately, sometimes you're like, oh, she's exciting. That's why men have a tendency to go for that bad bitch, that toxic bitch, because they're looking for the exact same thing, and that bad bitch, toxic bitch, is giving that same type of mixed signals. So I think it's a universal thing. But ultimately, if someone's constantly choosing someone who's giving them mixed signals, then there's to be some self-reflection on their part because clearly the problem is them and not who they're looking at.
Well said. At least the last part. Clearly, the problem is them, the women, and not who they are looking at. Yes, what S&M said on that, because because it screams toxicity on a cellular level, right? You said there were women who were like, yeah, we want you to come heal. We want these men to have it together. Want them to be able to express their feelings and come with know it, be intentional and know what you want and speak your mind and don't
Dating with
bullshit.
purpose.
Just date with it. Yeah, come straight with it. And at the same time, they're asking for something they're not even ready for. Right? They're not ready for it. By your own admission. They were like, oh no, we're not, you're healed now. We're not ready. I'm not ready to have these hard conversations. I'm not ready for accountability. I rather deflect and say, well, men do it too. Sorry, I digress. Anyway.
Shady as
He was having a
it,
flashback.
it comes from a distrust, right? An innate distrust. It comes from the presumption that there is something flawed in every man and that she has to find it. So now you got a man with his stuff together, got to fake like his intentions aren't straightforward. He got to play a zigzag just so he can give her the show and dance that she's expecting, even though he's a straight up dude. That's tragic and toxic, and it's not right. And no matter how you guys try to make it okay, it's wrong to 2/3 of the women like a dude who is not a straight shooter. They want to be lied to some. They like the girl in Hustle and Flow. I know D, I know sometimes you mess my mind. Man, the layers to that. See, that's like a pun. But my issue now laying with this is uh, it's problematic. It's problematic because what it essentially says, where you say it's due to women wanting excitement and they want stimulation and they want whatever, what they're saying is, I can't trust a good thing enough to let it just be good and let it be consistently good. I won't trust it unless I can see that it's flawed and see where it's flawed early on. So there's so much that a man, if he really wants to land this chick, gotta fake his flaws. Man, or just don't be, you know what I'm saying? Just be see, that's a problem though. Like sometimes you just so fly, right? That flaws and all, people be digging it. And they still were like, he's too perfect, he's too whatever. Guys, we should start a support group. Those of us, I know we're out there. You know, I'm talking to my people. I got two of them with me. Y'all know how it is. The struggle is hard, but it's all the women's fault in this case. At least 2/3 of them. Y'all tripping. Y'all making it harder than it has to be.
I feel like without doing a deep dive, sometimes these studies and these questions are supposed in such a way that it gives us fodder to talk about, right? Mixed signals versus clear interests. I guess I'd want to do a deeper dive even in that. Like, what would constitute as mixed signals? Like, if a woman is answering this question, the guy says, or the survey says, who are you more attracted to, right? Because I feel like when I hear clear interest off rip without knowing what mixed signals are, and maybe that's the point, right? But the idea of being thirsty is a thing. It's become very pervasive in our community. I don't know that it was always the case. I think growing up, there was a certain thing about being persistent. Right. It used to be a thing like niggas used to beg and whine with the key sweat and all that. Right. It used to be romantic to be persistent in that way. And then somewhere along the way in the culture, it became thirsty. Right. And so, like, I think a woman answering this survey today may see clear interest as thirst. But it doesn't mean that she necessarily prefers the mixed signals that we are suggesting that she may. Now, I will be honest enough to say that as a man who's used mixed signals to great effects, it is effective, right? So we're not going to pretend like, from a strategy perspective. Now, when I say it's effective, my definition is it's kind of like aloof. It's enough interest to let you know I'm interested, but it's not enough for you to feel secure, right? And I think a lot of women get kind of caught in that purgatory a little bit, right? It's not enough to trigger your flight or fight, or was it fight or flight? But it's enough because you're interested to kind of keep you paralyzed, keep you kind of there a little bit. And then let's be clear. If she's not attracted to you, it doesn't fucking matter if it's clear interest or mixed signals, right? That's the other caveat that I feel like is missing. Because the truth, if we dig a little bit deeper and we're talking about mixed signals, I'd be willing to bet that the caveat is it's from niggas that she is attracted to, right? It's not from the niggas that she's not attracted to, right? So there's an attraction there. All that man has to do is just give her a little bit, right? To, hey, I'm interested, but not enough to where she's secure in that, oh, I got him.